How many times have you been playing a game that you're really enjoying, sinking all of your hours into it, only to then see a game on sale? And it's at that point that you have to weigh up your options. Option A, you stop playing the game that you've been enjoying, promising yourself that you will return to it eventually. Or option B, you buy the new game and say that you will play it after you've finished the game that you've been sinking all your time into. And this is the thing, games do not stop releasing. So you get stuck in an endless spiral of buying new games or ditching old ones. The games that you don't play collect digital dust, and you just keep thinking to yourself, why can't I play everything? And that's what we're here to talk about. The gaming industry, for a lack of better words, has exploded in the past decade or two, with thousands of new games releasing every year across every single platform that you can think of, from Nintendo Switch to the PlayStation to Xbox and PC, as well as your mobile phone. The sheer volume of games makes it borderline impossible for one single person to play them all. And while doing a little bit of research for this video, I came across a term that I think really sums up why we can't play everything. And that is called choice overload. And that also affects our satisfaction with the final decision that we make. And you might think you know the answer, and it's time. Everyone is busy these days, busy with schedules, busy with responsibilities, and we often find ourselves limited with how much time we can dedicate to gaming, because at the end of the day, it's a hobby for most people. Balancing work, for me, I work a 9-to-5 job 5 days a week, and so by the time I travel home, I don't have the energy to play a massive 300-hour RPG, and instead, I'd much rather play something short and sweet. Meaning that I will still have a good time, but then I'm missing out on all those massive expansive worlds that everyone is raving about. But it's not just work, it's also school for some people, and managing your social life as well, because at the end of the day, gaming is a hobby, and sometimes you have little room for extensive gaming sessions. But if it's not time that's your issue, it might be money. Games can be super expensive, especially if you're an avid gamer who wants to play every single new releasing title. And it's seen from the last generational gap, the PlayStation 4 to PS5 or Xbox One to Series X, that's a good £10 difference in your game prices. And it might not sound like a lot, but in principle, it's deadly to your bank account. And if you're working on a limited budget, it may force you to prioritize certain titles over others, leading to missed opportunities. If your friends have bought the new Call of Duty and you can't afford it, then you can't play it. Or if your favourite series has brought out a new entry, you're going to have to wait until it goes on sale. And we do understand that games are expensive to make, and so the game publishers and developers do need to put this price point ahead so they can earn money to pay their employees. But sometimes it just feels like too much. And another factor that is retroactively affected by price limitations is the types of games that you play. Everyone has their own tastes and preferences when it comes to the genres and styles of games that they like to play. And I know mine has definitely changed over time. I remember a time where I would buy Call of Duty every year, buy the season pass as well, but now I haven't bought a Call of Duty since Cold War. I don't know how many games have come out since then, but I just came to the realization that I'm just buying the same thing every single year with a slight difference in paint. And now I've moved to playing older titles, games that I wouldn't really have ever played before, but have either been re-released on the Nintendo Switch, for example, or remasters. And don't get me wrong, remasters can be expensive as well. But that price point is all determined by what you're going to get out of it. A game like Fortnite is free, but if you really want to look cool, for example, I'm using that in air quotes right now, then you have to buy the skins, you can't earn them in-game. And it's at that point that you've got to set your priorities straight. Do you really need that skin? Do you really need that season pass? Do you really need that new Call of Duty? Because priorities and interests can dictate which games that a gamer will choose to invest their time and money into. I'm currently playing The Witcher 3. I've had it for 3 years and only recently decided to pick it up. And I'm having a blast with it. I've been playing it for about 3 months at this point, and I can't see myself finishing it anytime soon. Whether you're buying new games or ditching old ones, the inevitability is that you will have a never-ending backlog of games to play. If you finish a title, you will probably end up buying another one to just replace it, and the cycle goes on and on and on. Because realistically, you're having FOMO, the fear of missing out. You want to be able to play every single game that releases. You want to be able to explore its world, its environments, its story, its soundtrack, for example, especially if they're well-renowned titles. You want to be able to talk about them. You want to have experienced what these games have to offer. But at the end of the day, you're going to start rushing through them. Because realistically, you're going to have an RPG or a single-player game, you're going to rush through it, not experience everything that it has to offer to make the game what it is, and then you're going to move on to another single-player game, and you're going to do the exact same, and it becomes an endless cycle. Because this isn't just what people do, this is the truth. Because no matter how much you do try and catch up on your backlog, it will keep growing, never ending, until the day that you stop playing video games. That's just a fact. And while it is impossible to play every single game on the planet, it is important to focus on the games that really bring you joy and the games that you actually want to play rather than just following trends. So at the end of the day, just remember to prioritize games dependent on your interests and what you can play time restraint wise and how much you can afford to spend on video games, because they are getting quite expensive. But just remember, at the end of the day, games are meant to be fun, they're meant to be enjoyed, so there's no point in hopping on a gaming trend just for the sake of the trend. If you know that you're not going to enjoy that game, don't bother wasting your time on it. Just play games that you want to play. But thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy and you learned something, then feel free to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.